Ugh, the time has come. It is now the end of the year. Christmas time is here. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. The works. Anyway, I have not been active at all. I've been making very low effort videos, but today is different because you see, it's not different. Not at all. Nothing changed. It's all exactly the same. You will never see an inkling of change from myself. Nothing will change. After all, I showed my eyes once, and that was it. And now, these are back on. Whoop-de-doo. Anyway, so. Ooh, man. Anyway, all that being said, I now realize that I haven't reviewed in a while. You know, it's been quite some time since I reviewed something. I don't even know what I reviewed last, after all. I don't really care in any way, shape, or form, if I'm to be honest. But, you know, today is going to be different because today... we are doing a double review today. That being said... get over here. Damn it. 1. Get back on. 2. This is going to be a double review of the first original Real Grades. What a doozy. What an absolute doozy. So allow me to give you a brief history lesson on Real Grade. So, of course, these are the first Real Grades. This is RG-01, and this is RG-02. Now, Real Grade is nothing new. It is actually it's actually 12 years old, because on this box, for the RX-78-2, 2010. This is quite the old line of model kits. However, its age kind of doesn't really show. I will say that, honestly, every review you will see of these two Real Grades in particular, they all say they're loose, they drop parts all the time. Dropping parts is true. The front waist skirts on the Zaku and the front and back waist skirts on the RX-78-2, they do fall off pretty much all the time, but they're bearable. They're not, but whatever. But, yeah, so really, they're good kits, if I am to be honest. I've had them for about 3 months now. They have loosened up a little bit, but they're still really good. They don't loosen up that much. I mean, I think the leg drooped a little bit there. But they really don't loosen up. They're really not as bad. They're really not as bad as people made them out to be. And people say that the Zaku can't even stand up by itself. Excuse me. It's standing perfectly fine. I mean, it might be a little unstable right now because I was just messing around with it. But, yep, there it goes. All right, you know what? My own idea has been spot. Oh, wait, never mind. See? There you go. It's fine. See? Standing up perfectly fine on its own. That dragging thing right there, that's battery pack because filming in this 4K 60 FPS destroys this thing's battery. Anyway, so after all, we are going to start with the Zaku. So first things first, I'm just going to start out with the box because this has a very nice box. All Real Grades have beautiful boxes. Just the Zaku itself on the front, and then there is some writing right there. Check before and after flight, critical bolt torque, maintenance manual, check. I don't think I have that sticker on there, but who knows. Now the bottom, that shows you all your needs, all the stuff that happens with the Zaku. And there is basically all that it comes with. And now the pre-molded inner frame, that is what people gripe most about, but honestly, it's not that bad. And on the other side of the box, you've got product images of the finished product, panel lined, stickered up. It doesn't look too bad. The one thing I didn't really like is that it had clear parts for the bazooka and the machine gun, but I fixed that up with some metallic red paint. It doesn't look the best, but, you know, it worked. Some of the stickers peeled up. Some of them didn't really fit, like those hand stickers right there. They fit, but they didn't fit, if that makes sense. But, you know, nice box. Stickers-wise, this kit did not ail. It's got a decent, what's the word? thing of stickers. But I did put most of them on. Some of them have been taken off because, well, they didn't stick right. But I am actually just noticing that A12 sticker. I might want to put that on. But these bronze stickers, they didn't stick. The stickers right there, they didn't stick. The Mono Eye sticker, that one's still on there because why not? But, you know, nice sticker sheet. But who cares about the sticker sheet? You're really just here for the kit in general. But sticking with accessories, you do have a nice 1/144 scale Char Aznable, who is very small indeed, and completely unpainted as it is normally for small figures. But continuing off of that, you do have the Zaku machine gun. Now, this does actually have some features. You can twist the scope back and forth. The handle here is on a hinge joint, so that can move. The stock right here can swivel very slightly, but rather than that, not much. You can also remove the clip, and there is sculpted bullets. So let's see if I can... No, it's not going to come out, but there are sculpted bullets inside there. You can't see it at all as of the moment, but, you know, they're there, and it's a nice touch. So, very simple machine gun. Again, I use the red metallic paint. Doesn't really look that great. But, you know, it works, gets the job done. Next, you have the bazooka, which has basically the same functionality as the machine gun. So you got a hinge joint for the handle there and a hinge joint for the sight here. On the machine gun and the bazooka, they have this clip for the old real grade hands. But this is very nice bazooka. It's got the four, I don't know what those are. I don't know guns, but I don't really care. Very, very nice bazooka, 2 tones of gray. Same with the machine gun, 2 tones. And definitely very nice weapons. And for the Heat Hawk, I have painted this gold. It is not gold out of the box. It would be really nice if this focused. Hello? 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 There we go. So it's actually the same lighter gray it was with the machine gun and the bazooka, but I painted it gold so that it looked like it was powered on, but that didn't really turn out the best, and I don't want to do anything else with it. I have thought about painting the wire here aluminum or chrome, but yeah, it also has this tab, and fair warning, this thing, when I got it out of the box, it could not hold this. Well, it could, but the fingers need to be wrapped around it very well, or else it would just fall right out of the hands. But you don't really need to have it in the hands, because you come with this utterly minuscule clip that just clips right on to the Heat Hawk itself. And if you want to, you can keep it on, but it's just, yeah, it's kind of just there. So to get it onto the Zaku, just lift the arm up there, you take this, and then this little hole right here gets the peg, so you just plug that in, and now that's connected to your Char Zaku 2. And now there actually have been 2 real grade Zakus based on this direct design, which is just the MS-06S and then the MS-06F. This is the MS-06S since it is the Char Custom, but you know, I preferred this one, so I got this one. Now, after that, you get these pre-posed fists. Now, these are actually the only pre-posed hands inside the entire box, because after those, you have the real grade, standard real grade, not standard anymore, articulated hands. Now, I will say this, I am very glad they dropped these, because these are not the greatest. They're one of the gripes I have about these kits, but, you know, rather than that, that's all for the accessories, and time for the good old aesthetic. I forgot one thing. You need to get these off. It's actually insanely annoying because that little gray piece right there that's moving all around, yeah, that's not connected. So you just pull that off, it comes off, and then you just place it back on there and pray to God it stays. And then you can just, okay, it's not staying, nope. All right, and then you put on the fist, and then it's fine. But yeah, that's really obnoxious. I don't like how it does that. And then this piece right here, this part, that is also not connected, so that kind of just falls off, which is stupid, but, you know, it's a 10-year-old kit, so it's going to have some problems. Now, the real grade Zaku 2 is most definitely a beautiful kit. Most real grades, well, pretty much all real grades are. But again, the problems do sometimes outweigh the pros, such as the real grade Sinenju, the real grade GP01 Zephyranthes, or the Zeta Gundam. But honestly, if it looks good, you should get it. Like, at the end of the day, these are still model kits. They aren't toys. That's really the problem I think people haven't really understood, is that they're not meant to be these hyper-articulated playthings. They're meant to be model kits. They're supposed to be up on the shelf. I mean, it's nice to have posability, but it's still a articulated model kit. It's not like a car, it's not a plane, it doesn't just sit there and look pretty. I mean, it does sit there and look pretty, but to get it into a good pose, it takes a little bit, and you might loosen it up a little bit, but you can always use the super glue trick, of which I have used to tighten up the tab on the He-Hawk so it can tab into the hands, which of course is not the worst thing ever. It definitely lets it hold the He-Hawk. I mean, over time, I mean, not over time, I had to shave it down a little bit because it wouldn't tab in, but, you know, it works well, and, you know, it's beautiful. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous kit. It definitely does not deserve the flack it gets, and it's just seriously beautiful. And now, actually, weapon storage, since I skipped out on that, you do have a nice little tab back here that flips out. And for the bazooka, this is like the only part. I just flip this up, and also the handle, put that there. I do flip up the thrusters, spoiler alert, for the articulation, but, oh wait, no, I put it the other way around, I think. No, I don't. I obviously did something wrong, and this is not looking good for my review. Anyway, so you put it like that, it stays okay enough. I mean, it's still not that, it's not that great staying on, but whatever. Anyway, articulation time, because this thing is a doozy. So starting off from the feet, now these do have a nice point. They can point down like that. They can point, they don't really point up, but you do have some toe movement, a little bit of it. You do have a swivel. After all, there is a peg in there, and this as the receiving end of it. And this armor right here that shifts around, I don't want to say it's on a ball joint, but it feels like it is. I don't really recall, but you know, it works well. And now you come up to the knee. There is a double bend with that beautiful spring on the inside for the Zaku wires. Now, of course, shifting thigh armor is just oh so glorious. And for waist skirts, these do move all around. As I said before, they fall off really easily, but, you know, it's not too bad. Waist skirts again, this has very limited movement, but it still moves a little bit. Butt skirt, it moves a bit. And thrusters, as spoiled before, they can go up and down. Now hands, these real grade hands, you have a hinge joint at these 3 fingers to get a decent clench, and you fold them out, and that is also on a ball joint. The same goes for the pointer finger and the thumb. So, you know, you can get decent poses out of it, but nothing too super. Now, there is also a ball joint at the hands, so you can get a very good amount of movement. And there is a hinge joint, so, but it doesn't really stay with that gray piece, and that probably just fell into oblivion. Oh, there it is. How fun. Yeah, that's a problem with this kit. I don't know why that's so many separate pieces that just float there, really. But, you know, it works. It works well. And there is a double bend at the arm with shifting bicep armor. Very nice touch. And you looked. And anyway, so you do that, and you also have a nice full swivel here. And the shield does have a fair amount of articulation. It can swivel around like that. It's got 2 points for the hinge, and yeah, that's pretty good. Now this can be a butterfly joint. You have to kind of like wedge it out a little bit, pull it out a little bit, and to get it back in, it's simple enough. Now to get that out of the way, the arm can bend up, yeah, about that much, and it is on a ball joint, so it can rotate a full 360, so to like just move that up. Now the same goes for the spike pauldron here. It can swivel, it can move all around, it can fly, it can dance. Zaku 2. Now for the head, it does have, and this one is another problem that comes untabbed every now and then, but whatever. Now it can look up that far and look down that far. It is on a ball joint, and one of the coolest parts about this real grade Zaku is the head, because when you turn it, the mono eye also turns. So it's very nice touch, and for some reason this looks like a very sassy mobile suit. And for some reason I just personified this, and now the camera thought that was cringe, so it's not going to focus anymore. Would be great if it did. So yeah, that's good for the Zaku. Now, for weapon adaptability, that is perfectly fine, because you can, as I said before, oh, hey, I still have that clip on there. Don't want that, and I really hope, hold on, I'm just gonna be right back. There we go. The clip is off. And now I'm gonna just put that tab right in that little notch right there. So there we go. That's what went in. Hello? Hola, señor. Señor, please. Por favor, señor. Ah, there we go. So now this is in the hand. It holds on very nice. I'm not gonna lie. And yeah, it's a heat hawk. It does what it needs to do, and it falls out easily. But anyway, for the machine gun, to get the tab out, I just use the pommel end of the heat hawk and just flip that out. And I take the Zaku again. Place this, okay, I'll be right back again. And I can't believe I forgot some articulation. There is a ball joint at the waist, and this part can flip up, and you get a very fancy ab crunch. So you could do that, and also I have this machine gun here, and now the machine gun is on. It is very nice. Zaku holds onto it tight. And the same goes for the bazooka, but I'm not even going to try doing that because I'm too lazy. And now we are on to the good old Gramps, the RX-78-2, of which is a very good kit, and I 100% recommend it. I also recommend this. So, of course, on to the very, very first real grade. And that, of course, is the good old RX-78-2 Gundam. And both are from Mobile Suit Gundam, you know, 0079. And that is great, as is this absolutely phenomenal box art. Again, actually, this is based on the original RX-78-2 Gundam statue that was in Fukuoka, I believe, Fukuoka, Japan. And there is more stuff here, and there is a fully transformable core fighter, and that is, I mean, I don't have it in the Gundam because it limits articulation, but, you know, another finished product right there. It's very nice, very nice. Now back here, more finished product with images and stuff like that. And, yeah, it's a pretty good box, not gonna lie. And, of course, we have the Gundam itself. So for accessories, you do come with this base adapter, which is for the Action Base 1, I believe. Now, the Zaku 2 did come with this, but I didn't cut it out because I didn't want to, because these kits are way too small to be displayed on a absolutely colossal action base. But to get this in, you just need to open those up and then plug this into the butt, and there you go. That's for that. And now you do have to close it up like that, or else it's gonna look wrong. Anyway, so continuing with accessories, you do come with a very nice beam rifle. Nice yellow plastic with a little bit of gray sticking out there. The light gray plastic looking very nice indeed. All in all, very simple beam rifle. Next up is the bazooka, which this red is a sticker. All the red on this thing is a sticker. And this does come with sculpted missiles, and that is a very cool detail. And for articulation, there's actually a little bit of that. And for the beam rifle, as I forgot, because I had this video unscripted, you can move the sight from there to there, and this from there to there. Ain't that fun? Now there is also the shield, and now something very interesting about this, that this part right here, and this part right here that can swivel, these were connected to the arms of the RX-78, which is very, very interesting, and I'm impressed that they did that. I thought that was really cool. But for functionality, you can do that. Of course, this handle is on a hinge joint, so it can do that. This part right here can spin a full 360. And all in all, oh, wait a minute, hold on. And of course, haven't displayed it like this before, but you can plug in the beam rifle like that. Very, very nice. And now I actually haven't tried this, but I believe you can, since it has the same tab. You can tab in the bazooka, but I don't think you can do it that way. So I will do it this way, and you can't because this is too big for the hole, and that's something I'll never hear a woman say. Anyway, next, you do come with these way too big beams for the beam sabers, because these are actually taller than the RX-78-2. So I substituted it with this simple pink beam, with this more lighter shade of pink from the Real Grade New Gundam, which is a very great kit. Might review that in the future. Now, you also get these, which are the beam sabers on the backpack, but not because they have a tab in them, because, you know, can't really have these sucky hands hold on to. You see, as I said, sucky hands, and, you know, they're not great, so, yeah, you know. But to do that, you kind of just plug them in as you would with the Zaku. Oh yeah, this is the one that I put glue on. But the RX-78-2 does not have 4 beam sabers, so you kind of have to pull that out. But a neat part is that there are some tabs on the back of the shield that you can use to store the beam sabers when you have them, you know, out, which is a very nice detail, but I don't ever display it like that because it's pointless. But so to show you what it looks like with the big beams, you can put them in like that. And of course, it doesn't look too bad, but once you realize that these are literally master grade sized beams, you do notice the size difference, and it becomes a little icky to look at. So, of course, this new Gundam beam was compatible, so it definitely looks a lot better and is a much nicer shade of pink. I used to prefer this shade of pink more because it was, you know, just looked better. But now this looks better to me, and I'm here reviewing this thing instead of getting girlfriend singular, whatever. I'm never gonna get it. All right, shut up. Anyway, so yes, all good with that. Next up is the hands. Again, pre-post fists. Now this is not as much of a headache as the Zaku, since it is way better, and you literally just plug it in, and my goodness, it honestly looks really good. So that's a win for the RX-78-2 over the Zaku 2. And after that, you do get 2 of those, same with the Zaku. You do get the fully transformable core fighter. Now, this thing has some loose bits. I mean, the tail fin here, it's kind of loose. But, like, say if I just put it down on the ground there. See? It's all right. It's not the worst thing ever, but, you know, I'd prefer it if it didn't do that. The cockpit hatch can open. You just kind of have to pull that up, but there is no pilot in there because it is a 1/144 scale kit, so there's nothing really on there to sculpt. And the landing gear itself is removable, since after all this is transformable and you can put it in if you want. Now there is no place to store the landing gear once it is out. You kind of just have to not do that. And there's also really no way to display the core fighter flying if you wanted to, so it's kind of pointless. But I do say that this has a very nice amount of detail on it, especially with the intake up there at the front. The missile pods cannot open because 1/144 scale, also 10 years old. But to transform it, since it already wants to, you just put that in there, you fold that in, fold that down, and then push this up. And then there you go. Now you have a nice core block, which works, but it doesn't. It does remove two ball joints for the RX-78-2 when you decide to display it with it inside. And I prefer my Gundam to not have that, to not have limited articulation, even though it is on the ground, so it's not going to get anything hyper expressive. But, you know, it's a nice inclusion. And after all that, you get a nice 1/144th scale, damn, that is voluptuous. You get a 1/144th scale Amuro Ray, who actually doesn't look like he's wearing a pilot suit when he's all white, so you might want to paint that actually, so yeah. Now to put in the beam rifle, it is a little bit of a headache, but it's doable. So to get it out instead, since normally I wouldn't have the Heat Hawk out, I would use this beam saber to poke the peg out. And for this, it's just like I said, it's a little bit of a headache. You have to get that finger positioned, and so you get it into the trigger finger, and then you wrap that finger around, and then it's all like that. Now, it's not as bad. Obviously, it didn't look as bad as I just showed, but once you get that, you have to wrap the thumb around so it's all stable. But it definitely looks very good in the RX-78-2's hand, and it's definitely not really going to go anywhere since it's actually fairly stable. And for storage, for some reason I keep forgetting that, you can open this up, and I believe the beam rifle can store. Nope, it can't. It's too fat. Anyway, the shield, there is a slight tab in there, so you can plug the shield in. Very nice. And, damn, I closed that up. You can, yeah. There we go. You can display the Hyper Bazooka. You can display the Hyper Bazooka in there by plugging that in. And, yep, there you go. It's okay. But, yeah. Anyway, articulation time, yeah. So just like the Zaku, I will be going from the feet down. Now the feet do have a point. They point down like that, which looks somewhat ballerina-ish, so if you wanted to, you could probably do something like that. But the ankle armor is on a hinge joint. The toes can point. This back piece is on a ball joint for some reason, so that's something. You can rotate this almost 180 degrees. I'm kind of forcing that there, so I don't really want to force it, and then it breaks because I actually really like this kit. And then for the knee, I'm just gonna take that off. There is, again, a double bend, but for some reason, Bandai thought it was a phenomenal idea, that shouldn't be happening, to make the thigh armor go down that much. That does not look the greatest. If anything, it's a little too much. But, you know, if you don't want to make any exaggerated kneeling poses, you should be fine. For the waist skirts, ball joint, hinge joint, actually ball joint there, yeah. And another ball joint, but again, they fall off somewhat easily whenever they feel like it. The waist, that is on a ball joint. You can get a decent ab crunch, nothing too super, as it does have the core block in there. You can flip this up a little bit to reveal a little bit of a sculpted core fighter in there, but you know, nothing too bad. You can arch the back a little bit, With the hands, they're the same as the Zaku. We've got the hinge joints and then the ball joints. This one falls off really easily. I hate that. But, you know, wrist ball joint and both the fingers fell off. Yay! Anyway, you can also activate that hinge joint without any problems, unlike the Zaku. And I'm just gonna plug these fingers back in because they always pop out. And that is part of the reason why. Anyway, so you do have a nice double bend. You have a nice double bend of where the armor there shifts, which is very nice. The parts here, they also rotate a little bit because they're kind of just wedged on there. Also, I did paint the green and red to be closer to the original statue, which is very cool. And this can go out and rotate a full 180, 360 degrees. There is a butterfly joint, not as prominent as the Zaku's, but, you know, gets the job done. The head itself is on a ball joint. It can look up that far and look down that far. It can rotate a full 360. And the beam sabers are on a little bit of a ball joint, so they can move all around. The thrusters on the back, they are also on a ball joint. This part right here is on a semblance of a hinge joint. And these two little flaps right here, they are on hinge joints as well. So, all in all, very good articulation for a 10-year-old kit, and definitely one of my favorite kits that I've built of this year. Just like the Zaku, I will be going from the feet down. Now, the feet do have a point. They point down like that, which looks somewhat ballerina-ish, so if you wanted to, you could probably do something like that. But the ankle armor is on a hinge joint. The toes can point. This back piece is on a ball joint for some reason. So that's something. You can rotate this almost 180 degrees. I'm kind of forcing that there, so I don't really want to force it, and then it breaks because I actually really like this kit. And then for the knee, I'm just going to take that off. There is, again, a double bend, but for some reason, Bandai thought it was a phenomenal idea, that shouldn't be happening, to make the thigh armor go down that much. That does not look the greatest. If anything, it's a little too much. But, you know, if you don't want to make any exaggerated kneeling poses, you should be fine. For the waist skirts, ball joint, hinge joint, actually ball joint there, yeah. And another ball joint, but again, they fall off somewhat easily whenever they feel like it. The waist, that is on a ball joint. You can get a decent ab crunch, nothing too super, as it does have the core block in there. You can flip this up a little bit to reveal a little bit of a sculpted core fighter in there, but you know, nothing too bad. You can arch the back a little bit. With the hands, they're the same as the Zaku. We've got the hinge joints and then the ball joints. This one falls off really easily. I hate that. But, you know, wrist ball joint and both the fingers fell off. Yay! Anyway, you can also activate that hinge joint without any problems, unlike the Zaku. And I'm just gonna plug these fingers back in because they always pop out. And that is part of the reason why. Anyway, so you do have a nice double bend. You do have a nice double bend of where the armor there shifts, which is very nice. The parts here, they also rotate a little bit because they're kind of just wedged on there. Also, I did paint the green and red to be closer to the original statue, which is very cool. And this can go out and rotate a full 180, 360 degrees. There is a butterfly joint, not as prominent as the Zaku's, but, you know, gets the job done. The head itself is on a ball joint. It can look up that far and look down that far. It can rotate a full 360. And the beam sabers are on a little bit of a ball joint, so they can move all around. The thrusters on the back, they are also on a ball joint. This part right here is on a semblance of a hinge joint. And these two little flaps right here, they are on hinge joints as well. So, all in all, very good articulation for a 10-year-old kit, and definitely one of my favorite kits that I've built of this year. Obviously, I need to start scripting these things because I missed a part on the Zaku where you can flip up the cockpit hatch, but that's resisting. So I'm not going to force it because I'm too lazy and I want to get this review over with. So for some size comparisons, we are going to bring in the high-grade Barbatos Lupus, which is a little bit taller than average, if I do say so. Next, I will be bringing in the real grade 00 Quanta, which is very nice, which is about the same height, you know, decent size, decent weight. Probably not going to review this since it's kind of broken, but, you know. Anyway, I will be right back. Probably should have stopped that video. I think it was more critical. Anything gluten-free? Anything non-dairy? Anyway, here it is next to a Unicorn mode Unicorn Gundam. Will not be reviewing this because it is also broken. And here it is next to a Destroy mode Unicorn Gundam, which is the Banshee. Might review this since it is not broken. And after all, it is a good kit. Now, for master grade relevance, here it is next to the Gramps 3.0, of which is based off the real grade. And the Gramps is quite the tall one, but not as tall as the master grade Barbatos. So, you know, they size decently. They're decently sized kits, but all in all, they're, you know, they're still 1/144 scale. So they're good, but not, they're not too good. They're not too good in size, and that's probably going to do it for this review because I'm tired and just want to get this over with. So have a nice life, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and I'll see you around.